And I was banging around the house like a bear with a sore head for a couple of hours. She eventually came back in. And by this time I knew in my head that I was going to do it. And I was sort of almost like sort of showing off in front of her, like almost goading her a little bit, going, "Are you sure you don't want to talk to me? Are you sure we don't want to sort this out? Because you might not get another chance." You know what? I was being really spiteful in the way that I was talking to her.
Threatening.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, because she didn't know what my intentions were, but I had it. I knew what they were quite clearly. So yeah, she eventually left. She's like, "I can't deal with you. I'm leaving. Just do what you want. Just do your thing." And that was me. That was a green light. I think that was my last ditch effort. I think I was wanting her to grab a hold of me and do something safe. Stop. But I pushed her so far away from me, mate. There was no way she was going to do that. She was just like, "Please just get away from me. Please just give me space. You need your space. I need my space. Just leave me alone." So I thought, this is the best time. So I made all the preparations, took myself into the spare room, barricaded myself in the spare room, wrote a letter, very, very cold and to the point. I think it was something like, it was very, very clinical. It was something like, "My name is Stephen Japp. I'm 37 years old. And for me, this is 37 years too many," or something like that. Then I just went into a bit of a sort of rant as to what should happen to the house. Cassie, she should be all right. Everything goes to her. It was very sort of cold and to the point. It was, "I'm me. I no longer have a desire to be here. My wife gets everything to make sure she's okay." And I just signed off. I wrote my best mate, Greg. I text him. I text another one of my mates, just apologising for not being, because I'm really shit at staying in touch with people, really bad at it. And I think I just sent them an apology text to say, "I'm sorry I've not been in touch, I'm really bad at it. I do apologise. You're a good friend." And signed off, mate. And yeah, took a couple of tablets to get myself into a happy place, gave it half an hour, and then I got the sharpest implement that I could find, mate, and made a real attempt to end my own life. And in the process, turned the spare bedroom into a horror show. A horror show. It looked like a scene out of a Saw movie. Made a real mess. And the worst thing about it is, I didn't see it through. And the worst thing is that she had to come and she found me. She knew something had happened. She could hear music on in the room or whatever, and she knew something was going on. I wasn't responding, so she ended up breaking down the door, and she found me lying in the bed, and it just claret everywhere.
Was you conscious or?
No, I was unconscious at the time.
Or was you on your way out?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm a real hoarder, and I've had a real bad trait. I'm a bit of a military hoarder. So in my bedside cabinet, I've got some real nondescript things that you just have no purpose having in your bedside cabinet. A cat tourniquet is one of them. Don't ask me why. But credit to Cassie, she went and she grabbed that. She put a tourniquet around my arm. She tried to stop the blood flow. She got the ambulance around there. Paramedics came in. I remember regaining consciousness though, halfway in between her finding me and the paramedics arriving. So they were on their way. I remember my blood pressure must have spiked, and I remember waking back up and conscious of the fact that I was still awake, conscious of the fact that my wrist was now wide open, conscious of the fact that I'd failed and what my intentions were. And this is when I knew that I'd got past the point of no return, because I just picked up the knife that was still sitting I just picked up the implement, and it was on the floor, and I just kept going. I just kept going. Awake, conscious.
With the paramedic and...
No, they weren't here. They were still on their way. But the fact...
Cassie there?
Yeah, she was there.
Was she trying to stop?
Yeah. But I was still trying to go, because I was like, I'm still here. This is not part of the plan. So, yeah, but eventually I lost consciousness again. And then I woke back up. And this is what I remember consciously saying to myself, "Mate, you have lost your mind."
Well, were you so kind?
I had I tell you about him, a teacher, Johannes Hagener, marvellous man. I tell you about him. In German, they used to tell, if you can't tell a Jew by the nose, you tell him by the stink of garlic. Why, I don't know. Jewish cookery, Russian cookery, or maybe Russian or French cookery, Jewish cookery doesn't use a lot of garlic, as far as I know. But that's what it is. So I stood next to a boy in the gym class, and he said, Herr Hagener, can I stand somewhere else? I can't stand the stink of garlic. So he slapped his face. I have no control what you do in the Hitler Youth. You read that on case in the Hitler Youth. In my class, you behave like a civilized human being. My mother, when she heard it, she couldn't believe it. If the boy had talked, not only would he have lost his job, he would have could have gone to prison. I was sexually abused by one of the teachers. I never told my parents. My father would have killed him. And he used to say, if you say anything to anybody, I see your father, I tell him you told me your father did it, and he'll go to a concentration camp. And this chap Hagener, it went on for several weeks. Hagener, what's wrong? They used to call me, my mother misguidedly registered me in school as Heinrich. That's why I'm calling myself Henry now. Heinrich, what's the matter? Come on, tell me. But I think there were rumors about him. I wasn't the only boy. And I told him, if ever that happened again, tell me again straight away. It never happened again. But when I was in the army, I went twice to Kiel. I saw Hagener. When I used to go to Kiel, some of the teachers come, can you sign this for me for the British authorities? There was the British. He said, no, I can't. I don't know about it. I asked Hagener, is there anything you want me to sign for you? Not necessary. My record is well known. When he was 50, they were short of teachers. They called him up and sent him to the Russian front at 50. But he got away without a scratch, luckily enough. He died later on. He moved to Dortmund down there. I saw him twice down. And I asked him, tell me, Hagener, how did you stop, his name was Eriksson, how did you stop Eriksson for the sexual abuse? There was a rumor around to other boys, and he told Eriksson, he told him, I'm not telling you, 2 boys complained to me about it. I'm not telling you who. But if there's anything like this again, I go straight to the police and testify against you.
Stuff would happen, but it would be a bit disjointed.
And when you first said it then, the trenches stuff, was it like the First World War kind of stuff?
Yeah, but not like muddy Somme type stuff, but there was a proper dugout trench and then a berm of dugout, freshly dug earth to like 2 meters. And
how would they fight? Would they go in open?
They'd like raid occasionally, but really it was a stalemate at that point.
Right.
Like they'd snipe at each other. Like that was the first time I properly appreciated the effect a sniper can have on a group of people, because like I'm 6'2", and like I was hunched over for like the 3 weeks I was there. And like I remember distinctly, I got up at like, I was probably like 4:30, 5:30 for like sunrise. I was like, I'm going to go and get some nice shots of like of sunrise at this place that we're staying. And I was on a road, a metal road that was raised slightly behind the village. So like there was me, village, berm, field, ISIS, right? 4:30 in the morning, and I'm there mincing around. And I'm like, oh, this is nice, and then like it can't have been more than like a meter above my head. I was like, and I ducked down and was like, that shot didn't even make it into the documentary in the end. I nearly got my head blown off for it. So it's just like, I really, really appreciated the effect that snipers could have on a group of men by then.
But just for that shot, I appreciate the fact that you did me, road, burn, trench, field, ISIS. That combination of words has never been put into a sentence before. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Okay, good. Well, at least you got that. But I nearly had my brains blown out over a shot that was totally unnecessary.
Lived in this little Welsh cottage in the middle of nowhere. It was pitch black, but it was so beautiful, and it was my space. But sadly, when Adele was 3 weeks old, I was breastfeeding her one night, and I was texting a friend in the old, dial phones you have, and I heard a car coming down the driveway, which never hit a driver, and I thought, oh my gosh. And he'd always, my daughter's father had always said, I'll find out where you live, and when she's born, I'll come and I'll see her. And I said, well, no, you won't. And he basically he'd got a lift to Pembrokeshire, gone out to a pub, got very, very drunk, and said to the guys in the pub, oh, was it, and everybody knows everybody in Pembrokeshire. It's like, and he'd managed to find out where I lived, and he tracked me down, and he turned up to my house at about 3 o'clock in the morning when I was breastfeeding her at 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning. She was 3 weeks old, 3 threes. And he broke into my house, and I remember texting my friend saying, can you please just phone the police now? And my friend Vessa at the time, she was in Burford, and said she was shaking. She knew that he was dangerous because that's why I'd moved away. And she said she talked the police in, but in that time he had sat on my bed and basically said, tonight I'm going to kill you. You've ruined my life. And he proceeded to punch me, jump on me. I was still breastfeeding her. He hit me in the head. And I just remember, I don't really know what really happened, but he kept saying, you've ruined my life, you ruin everybody's life. I was like, why does this always happen to me? I remember thinking, why me, and just fighting him off.
And where was your daughter?
I was still feeding her at the time. And I remember him, kicking it, just literally, I ended up, he was on the floor and I was on top of him, and I was like, just get it, pulling him off, me. And then luckily the police turned up. And I remember just saying to him, just get him out. I want him out. And they said, do you want us to press charges? I said, I don't care. I said, just get him out of my house. And the whole house is wrecked, totally wrecked. And the police were amazing. They were incredible. And I hadn't really seen him since. He did see his daughter through a contact centre because the police said that he was dangerous and they didn't really want him to have that contact with her. And then when she was about 5, she'd get in the car, and when she started to speak, she said, Mummy I don't want to see him anymore. And I never would say anything negative about him, but she got in the car one day and she looked at me and she just threw up, and she was so nervous, I think.
God.
And the contact centre actually said, we're going to stop this meeting because he's not very nice to her. He keeps trying to get her to bring different girlfriends along every time, and so they made the decision then.
You just knew what I was like. I don't come home at night, go out, I come home days later. You don't know what I'm like. I used to hate myself with a passion. Now, my first wife stabbed me. And she's not a bad person. She's a good person. She stabbed me. Because she said, who's it going to be? Drink, gambling or me? And I laughed. And she stabbed me. And I'm like, that's what addiction does. Horrible. I just think of that. Who laughs at someone when they say, drink, gambling or me? And I just laughed. Just laughed. And he stabbed me in the hand, and my hand was over my face. And she's not like that. And that's what it does. It's evil.